First of all, the nature of the audio issue. So last recording I mentioned something about the audio being doubled. Here's exactly what I meant by that. So I'm using something called an EVGA XR1 Pro, which what that does is HDMI pass-through. So it takes everything that's being sent through HDMI into it and passes it out the other side. There might be some a resolution scaling that happens because it can only support a certain output resolution. But otherwise it just passes through. And that includes the video and the audio. And even if you plug something into it as an audio output, which you can do, I don't believe it siphons off. In fact, I can actually try that right now. So let me plug something into the audio output of my XR1. Okay. Why is the capture device also doing my voice? That's funky. Okay, so that was weird. Let me try putting it. Okay, what does this do? Now, I'm going to mess around with this. Okay, so what that does is it makes it so that the worst possible situation occurs. Okay, I don't want to do that. So I'll do all kinds of weird things. So basically, it passes the audio that's being passed into it out to wherever the display is, right? Now, my 1080p monitor, which I like to output to, has little speakers in it. They're not very loud. They're very wimpy. I don't even know why they're even there. They're kind of pointless, but they're there and they make a faint noise. Now, the XR1 also siphons off all of the video and audio into OBS for me. So if I toggle around, the clicking noise from toggling around shows up in a track in my recording, as long as I got the settings correct. So you get two things. One is the track that's its own separate track. And then you get it playing out the speakers that are embedded in my monitor, which then my microphone picks up. Because my microphone is just a microphone, it picks up everything around it. So you get it twice. Now you can just omit the extra track, but I don't want to do that because that'll make, compared to my voice, the game stuff, like the voice acting, extremely faint. So I like to add the other track back in, but I want my voice back in, so you have both tracks and the audio might be doubled up on each other, maybe with a slight delay, and it might be awkward. If I plug a little, like some headphones into the XR1, then they end up acting like a microphone. Headphones can act like microphones in reverse. So then the XR1 will take my voice and it will combine that, picked up by the headphones like a microphone, combine that with the game audio and pipe that into the third track. And that's what accidentally was just demonstrated there, which makes things even weirder and worse. The reason why I say the third track is because ordinarily, when I record stuff, there is a desktop audio and a voice audio. And I added the video capture device audio as a third track, just so I didn't mess up my system that much. You could theoretically replace the desktop audio with the video capture device, but then I have to mess around with settings every time I change games. So, and what device I'm playing the games on. So I didn't do that. I made it a third track. So when I do these recordings of the Switch games, desktop audio ends up just being a silent track. Because there's nothing coming from the desktop, all the audio is coming from the Switch, for example. That's what that's all about. I don't know how to fix that. I could try. Sound. Mute. Oh, let's try that. Ah! Okay. So what that actually made it so that the clicking ended up on the third track, but it was not played out of the speakers. So by muting the monitor in the monitor settings using the monitor's little subcontrols, I was able to just now in real time get rid of that doubling. Now the problem is I can't hear the game myself. I see that's coming in the third track because OBS is telling me there's audio coming in. It can see the clicks visually, but I can't hear them. So, how can I fix that problem? Is there an audio port? Is there a headphone port on my monitor? I'm going to pause the encoding while I investigate that. And I'm back. So maybe it's because I just had pushed the port in all the way, but if I plug like headphones into my XR1, it actually does divert the game sound to the headphones, which is what I would expect it to do. So I guess in the end, it's kind of like I kind of solved my problems real time on recording instead of properly setting this thing up beforehand. It's kind of like my mom helping me with my upper division engineering homework. She doesn't understand absolutely any of it, but if you like make this attempt to explain something to somebody, like, oh, this is what my problem is, and then all of a sudden I have a tendency to think of the solution now. Where I originally, it's easier to solve a problem when you're explaining the problem to someone. And when you're done explaining the problem to someone, there is no problem anymore because you've already solved all of it. Okay, so we solved all of the audio problems. Cool. I'll open the game now. I thought I was myself. Now it's like way too loud though. So I'm gonna turn the volume down. It's like blasting my ears. Okay, I'm gonna unplug this and I'm gonna plug in old crummy headphones intentionally to utilize their oldness and crumminess. Sorry, I'm just gonna pop. It's weird. It's like when you don't plug it, it's not plugged in all the way. It's like it's partial. It like puts sound into the third track and makes nasty popping noises. To not blow my ears. Because I don't know, like changing the volume on the Switch seems to not affect the volume. Maybe, wait a second. Maybe I can change it on the XR1. Let me pause encoding again. Okay, I'm back. Yes, you can adjust the volume on the XR1. So, however, I'm not really seeing a difference. So what am I doing wrong here? Okay, right is to volume adjust. Okay, now I can adjust Is that min volume? Okay, so this is max volume. I presume this is min volume. I don't really hear a difference, unfortunately. But I will go into the game, and hopefully I don't get my ears blasted. And once they're in the game, I can also adjust the volume of all the voice acting in the game using the game controls, I guess. That's one way to change it. Anyway. So, just to kind of reference some of the dumb terminology I invented last time. So, I might have said something like, when Ayaka was introduced, that Ayaka was first girl. What I mean by that is, even though I've only played one of these romance visual novels, that was Never 7. Even with that one, I would start to think that these games tend to have what I would call a first girl, which is a girl that the game presents to you at the start as, here you go, here's a girl, she already kind of likes you, she's your childhood friend, why don't you try pursuing her first, right? For example, Yuka in Never 7. And Yuka is actually, her firstness is accentuated by her being the default girl. She's the route you tend to go on first, just because if you don't get in any other routes, you end up on hers. It's like the probability of, she is the girl with the highest probability to end up in a route by far. And she isn't really your childhood friend, but they do this thing where it's like you remind her of one of her childhood friends, even though said childhood friend... Wait a second. Okay, I'm curious about something now. Oh, that adjusts the volume. That's what it does. It didn't adjust the volume in my headphones. It adjusted the volume of the game in track 3. Oh, that's what that did. So you were hearing changes in volume and I wasn't. Okay, anyway. So like Yuka would be an example of that. It's just basically trying to get you into the game and get you like doing something, right, as you start. So you don't get all like lost in it. And once you've conquered first girl, once you figure out how to get through the first girl and finish her route, then you move on to the more challenging, more eccentric romance plots and more eccentric personalities of the higher level girls. Doki Doki Literature Club, which is a spoof of this kind of game, being its spoofness, makes Sayori kind of a spoof on the first girl. So I guess you could say I have 2 examples. Now, it turned out as we went into this, let's get the list of the girls here. Man, this is loud. It is so loud. Yeah, I'm gonna need those old crummy earbuds. Sorry for the pop. I could edit out the pops in post, but I'm probably too lazy, so I probably will not. Okay. That might be almost too quiet. But, oh, we're calling her not Yusho, we're calling her Yu. Okay. Yue. Continuing on. It became apparent, though, as we progressed through this game, that Ayaka isn't really first girl, right? I was just wrong. It kind of a subversion. They present Ayaka to you right after the bat as your childhood friend that lives next door. That's a very first girl-ish kind of characteristics. but she's not the person who you get presented it with first, that you start having to figure out whether or not you want to romance them or not first. That seems to be Yue instead. So Yue is actual first girl, and Ayaka sort of fades and becomes this shadowy figure in the background. Like she's like the face on the cover. She isn't literally, but it's as if she would be the face on the cover or the face on the movie poster that's like transparent-ish, and it's really big and covers the whole poster in the background. Kind of like if this game had a villain, where a story had a big bad villain, or like a stage 2 villain, where you'd put their face. But these games don't seem to have this doesn't seem to have a villain, so you would put that kind of character in the background. And I also might invent this term, which I don't know how correct. Just invent this term I call main girl, which I guess you could also call boss girl, which is, well, this has to spoil Never 7, but it's hard to not spoil games I've already played because I have to say what I'm thinking, as I always say. So this is kind of spoilery for Never 7. The main girl of Never 7 is Izumi. So that's an example of a main girl. And in that situation, you couldn't actually get in her route until you deal with the other ones first, which made her like a final boss kind of girl. So Ayaka might be the main girl. I mean, we might not see Ayaka again as a sprite, like in person in front of us, until we go to the amusement park on Sunday. They don't know necessarily what the days of the week are, but I'm guessing it starts on Monday. I mean, because I'm guessing this is 7 days long, just like in the Infinity Series games are. It's 1 week. So we're going to end off at the amusement park. That's how it's going to finish. And that's where we're going to finish with Ayaka. But not sure. I don't even know what day of the week we started, really. So we might end up at the amusement park midway through. I don't know. But Ayaka, we don't see her in person, except at the very start. However, she is in flashbacks quite often. She's a memory, right? So she kind of looms there in anticipation of her coming into the story and being significant. She's teased, tantalized. Okay. So we have Yue, which I'm going to have to start pronouncing her Yue now, and Yu Shou, who is indeed first girl. Shown, we haven't talked to her, I haven't had sprites of her yet, but I believe Yue mentioned her on the train in the morning of the 2nd. So she is mentioned. And she, guess what, is another childhood friend. This guy's childhood friends with all the girls. Is how it is. Kaoru. I guess her name is Kaoru. Well, it's written out in Hiragana, so it's actually easy to pronounce. We have been introduced to, and she is she's just like one of the, like, a la carte, right? She is not a main girl. She's not a first girl or a main girl. She might be a best girl, depending on if you like her or not. It's just one of the girls they threw in there. Apparently is the best looking, so she might be kind of like, she's rich and good looking, like Saki was in Never 7. However, Saki was the tsundere, right? And Kaoru is definitely not a tsundere. So not everything lines up, right? Probably Shon's the tsundere, if I were to guess. Because she has that tsundere character style and tsundere facial expression. Got that long hair, right? Anyway. And then we have this, I don't like, the term lolly is so awkward, because it's it's kind of perverted, but whatever. Um, I don't know how else to refer to it, but we don't even know who Minamo is, haven't been introduced to her at all. She appears to be a somewhat like a Kirumi from Never Seven like girl from her physical appearance, but in character design. But I don't know what her personality is actually going to be when she's introduced. And then Koyomi has a character design that makes her look like really smart. That really smart look. But we haven't been introduced to her either, so I don't know if that's actually how she's going to turn out when they put a personality to that look. I'll see. I'm going to write down those names, though. So I'm going to pause the encoding so it doesn't increase the link, pad out the link to the video as I do that. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, Koyomi, that's all that name. Koyomi has that air to it. It's very sophisticated sounding. Okay. So, let's go to continue. Load. My save. Rotosro. Rodo Shy. Okay, I presume that yes is on the right. I was wrong. There we go. Could have accidentally wiped the game out. Background music wanted to play, they decided, oh wait, settings said not to. So I don't know if I translated this line or not. Oh yeah, I haven't really talked about the whole lack of integration situation. Yeah, the whole connection error with Bing, who cares? Oh, that's going to make my box bigger the whole time, isn't it? Maybe I should have used deval. Whatever. The whole thing caused me to learn, the whole fiasco caused me to learn that every time you click translate with the OCR, it copies what it OCR'd to the clipboard. I didn't actually know that. I thought that, I just knew you couldn't copy and paste out of the translation window. And so I went through all of the episodes I did record of the Ever 17 Xbox remake, not knowing that I had the text in the clipboard and I could actually paste it into somewhere where I could edit it. So if there's repeated hiragana, like ki and ma tend to repeat. If you have one that has that superscript that changes the pronunciation, like it changes the sun to zu and so on, those ones tend to get repeated. I could delete the repeated characters. If there are kanji that got messed up, if I knew which kanji it was, I could switch it out. Things like that. I didn't know I could pull that off. And so I went through that entire thing with that unnecessary limitation. Which makes me feel kind of like a moron. But now I know. Okay, no matter what happens, so this is the protag speaking, I believe, since I didn't get a voice line. I'm gonna go to sleep anyway. I want to sleep, you want me to sleep. So she's talking about throwing erasers at me, trying to get me to not sleep.
授業終わってるのに?
She responds with, oh yeah. And I have to Control V every time. And I want to pick up the controller, even though class is over. And that's always the least efficient because it makes me take my hand off the Control V buttons. And I accidentally hit Control C instead. Yes. Even after class. What's going on? This isn't the time to sleep. What?
だ
Sudden
から
change.
一応教えてあげようとしたんだけど、ま、寝たいならご勝手にどうぞ。
The problem is old headphones make it hard to hear the voice lines. Should I go back to blasting my ears? This is why I was trying to tell you. Well, if you want to sleep, feel free to do so. Go back to ear blasting. Ready for some nasty popping noises? Ooh. Ready? Ooh. Okay, done. Now I can hear Karu's voice blasting me into oblivion. After saying that, she just leaves the classroom. And the person who had mistaken me who I had mistaken for her, the culprit behind everything, stood in front of me.
お、やっと起きたか。
Oh, it's so loud. Oh, you finally woke up. So I could have guessed correctly if I would have guessed Sheen did it. If that's how you pronounce his name, I'm not sure. If you were to wake me up, would that be better? Thanks to you, that happened to me, or whatever. However, when he covers my face with his hand, or he covers his own face with his hand, Sheen declares with a nonchalant expression,
いや、思いつかなかった。それにな、俺は智也が寝てようと一向に構わんのだが、今坂さんに頼まれてたからな。
No, I couldn't think of anything. Besides, I don't care at all if your Tomoya's sleeping. But Imasaka-san asked me to. Well, I kind of see where they get that. So, having a translation window here. Whoops. Oh, nope. Can I undo that? No. Why did I do that to myself? I don't know how to get out of this. I honestly don't know how to reverse doing that. I don't know how to... Like, if I accidentally full screen this window, I do not know how to, Oh. Taskbar settings. Crud. Okay. Sorry about that. I hate it when I do that. If you accidentally maximize a translation window, I can't like fix it. Like the only thing I can do is close the window to unmaximize it. Then I have to like redo my settings, and then I have to, by loading a file, but I still have to load the file. And then I have to replace everything. Okay. Now, what I was trying to do is say that, so this kanji here, okay, there's my cursor, means now, and you pronounce it ima, right? And I presume that this kanji here, the second one, is Osaka. But when you put them together into a name, it's a name. So it's not probably like the pronounced ima Osaka. I don't know how the name would actually be pronounced. If you get what I'm getting at. Okay. Oh, that one really wrong. Probably because I grabbed a piece of my translation window in my OCR box. Maybe it's Yu's offer, but why would she ask Sheen? Because Sheen's making stuff up. We already know he does that. Is that about how much you care about what happened this morning? I guess I'll have to wait until after school to see what happens.
飯を買いに行くんなら早くした方がいいぞ。
Well, if we're gonna go buy food, if you're gonna go buy food, you better hurry. Leaving me, who is still sitting in my seat, Sheen left the classroom, as well as Otawa-san. Okay, so Otawa, I presume, is Kaori. Otawa-san is Kaori. Kaoru, not Kaori. Such a heartless person. As I mumbled these words, I shook off the remaining sleepiness and clocked out. Well, I didn't grab the whole thing, though. It's not clocked out, it's probably left, right? Because that kanji, I believe, is like to lead. It's probably ikimasu. It's probably, okay, well, I accidentally moved on to the next line. It's probably left, which is probably ikimasu. Wow, it's already halfway through lunch break. I hurried up from my seat and hurried to the store to make sure I had enough for lunch. Money or food, I don't know. Okay, we got a hallway background. That hallway looks oddly filled with water. I know the artist is trying to draw a shiny floor, but it doesn't show a reflection of the ceiling. So it just looks like it's like flooded. The stairs approached in front of the hallway. The stairs I was approaching came into view at the end of the hallway, something like that. There was no way I was going to look around. I jumped into the air as if I was sliding into the building. Basically, it's like, I'm not going to look left or right, I'm going to focus on where I'm going. Is that what he's trying to say? Stairs. Is this where they got the idea of the stairs background from Doki Doki Literature Club Plus? After descending the stairs, I guess, I presume that's right, you can go up, you went down them. And turning the last corner, I could see the purchase that I was looking for. So, Obasan, give me the usual. I translate that to grandma, but I presume it's just a respectful way to refer to someone who's a woman who's a lot older than you, not necessarily grandma. She's not there. right? Hey, lunch break is short, so hurry up. Wait, did he say that to Obasan? I wonder if she can hear me. That is so loud. Uh, Does OCR grab this? OCR grab was not even close. Unfortunately, I have to zoom in. That's extra work, but I have to do it. Okay, top option. That is, try shouting. And the second one is, try to be humble. I'm obviously going to pick try to be humble. That's the kind of... Excuse me? Excuse me. That is a spoiler. You're not So I don't know if this, I don't want to look this up because I don't want to get spoiled by things unexpectedly, but I still attempted to think that these hints were added by mages, like, afterwards, and it's not in the original KID thing. Because you didn't see anything like this in Never 7. Given Never 7 is kind of meant for maybe an older demographic, like this is a game for high school kids and it was for college kids. Just kind of guessing from the age of the characters, right? The characters in this game are high school kids and the characters in Never 7 are college kids. So maybe it's supposed to be more difficult or whatever. But I still think this was added after the fact. And what makes visual novels more of a game and not just like you're reading a book is the challenge of having to make the correct choices and figure out what choices you need to make in order to get into each character's routes based on their personalities and stuff, right? That's the challenge. That's what makes it a game. If you take out that aspect by just telling me what choices are good for what characters, it becomes almost not a game anymore. Like, there's no win-lose conditions. I guess you could intentionally lose, but it takes all of the challenge out of it. So it's just like a really bad thing to do. Anyway, I said that I would have picked try to be humble anyway before I saw this hint thing, so it's not influencing my decision. But I still really dislike that. Yeah, it's also a spoiler because Obasan is Koyomi. But we don't know that yet. We're not supposed to know that because the game has intentionally not showed us Obasan sprites for a reason. It's intentional. You can't just undermine that. I guess you can, but it's not a good thing to do. Please. I rely on Obasan. Or Obachan. Something seems strange. Yeah, like you're talking to nobody. You're literally talking to nobody. But that hint would make sense. But yeah, but sometimes like we've had like thought options where like the thought option influences your points towards a certain character. These games do things like that. It's really illogical, but they still do things. So they can still have something that influences your Koyomi points when Koyomi isn't even there. KID does do that stuff. If I look closely, I can see that the purchasing department is covered in curtains. So it doesn't look like there's any business at all. Oh, come on. Grab it. Thank you. Is it already closed? Is it too early for it to close? And nothing I can do saying things like that.
おい、智也、今日は交番休みだぞ。
Shin. Hey, Tomoya. Today is a day off for purchasing. I heard a familiar voice from behind. There's no need to confirm that it is so.
おばちゃん腰痛めちゃって立てないんだってさ。しばらく購買は使えないな。
Oba-san hurt her back and can't stand. We won't be able to use purchasing for a while. Honto-ka? Honto? What's that borrowed from? Really? So what's just Honto by itself? Truth. Okay, but it's borrowed from something else besides English, that's for sure.
ああ、本当だ。
Yes, it is true. But this guy makes stuff up, that's for sure. So, can't know for certain. In Shin's left hand is a convenience store bag. In his right hand, he was holding the lunchbox that he had brought with him. And then... Oh, it actually got that kanji right for once. Is it forbidden? It's forbidden to go out without permission, right? Japanese high school, so strange. So strange. Although my high school, you had to get like you had to apply for an off-campus lunch pass. You couldn't just like do it. You couldn't just go off. You had to. There was a procedure. But if you had an off-campus lunch pass, you could use it. I'll point out glaring violations of school rules. Just because you point it out doesn't mean you'll get anything out of it.
事情が事情だから、購買が休みの間は外食も OK なんだってさ。ジュース1本買うにも外に行かなくちゃいけないなんて不便だよな。
Because of the circumstances, eating out is also okay during the off-season when purchasing is closed. It's inconvenient to have to go out every time to buy one bottle of juice. Oh. So I know you use like hone as is the counter for cylindrical things. Right? So that's why it says here, can you see my cursor? It's on the upper right box here. Juice. One hone. Ichi hone and then kites like per something. Right? This is like to buy. It's actually the same kanji as for book, which is also pronounced hone. So it's not a homophone, it's literally book. So that makes me think it's scroll. That's interesting. Hone used to mean scroll. But instead of having a separate word for scrolls and codices, which they just say the same word for both, which is interesting. While saying such things, I drank the juice that he had probably bought at a convenience store and that he showed me. I looked around at the curtains of the purchasing department again and saw the words temporarily closed due to owner's sudden illness. What sudden illness?
腰痛めちゃったんだって言ってんじゃねえか。立ち仕事で重いもの持つからな。
Well, Sheen said it was a problem with her back, but we might find out that's baloney because it came from Sheen. Aren't you saying it was her lower back hurt? Her lumbar? Wasn't I saying that her back hurt? She has to work standing up and lifting heavy things. We'll find out if that's true. Huh? I guess it can't be helped. I'll go buy something too.
もう昼休み終わりだぞ。
Yeah, but like... lunch break is already over. And this is like, what? Nanits. Yeah, nanits. Because you were sleeping, dude. She was right. Looking at the clock, I saw that my lunch break was coming to an end. Some girl's gonna bail you out with food. Even if I go shopping now, I won't have much time left to eat. Shikash. I wonder if there's a translation for that. Or is this an expression of frustration? Oh, it is. It's kind of like but. But. Oh dear. It won't even OCR that. It just refuses. It's just like, nope. You gave me too much. That's too confusing what you gave me. I can't even recognize any characters in it. Every time I have a choice, I have to resize my capture. Okay, so this is probably buy something anyway. Leave and buy something is probably what this is. Because I know that this kanji means to exit. And this one means to buy. Go shopping. Oh. Basically, just I believe it should be returned home. Might be just try to jiggle this a bit. There we go. Give up and go. Back to the classroom. Well, it has to do with the girls we'll meet along the way, right? That's the issue. If we go back to the classroom, we might hit Kaoru again. If we go buy something, we might encounter her along the way. Which one is most likely to get the girl? I'm gonna go the crazy adventuresome route and go buy something and see if that gets like the romance situation where I want it. Well, if you give me the answer, I guess I will take the answer. This did influence my decision. But that's the spoilers. Why did you... Who in the board meeting, thought that this was a good idea? What person that worked for Mages, or whoever made this game, or if this was KID that did this originally, thought this was the right thing to do? And what was your thought process? Well, thanks for giving me the answer. Maybe there's something in the settings that can turn it off. Can't be helped. I'll have something to share somebody to share something with me. Okay. No. B menu. Whoops. How do I get the... What did I do? Okay, the plus menu. This is save, right? And then... what it would be... Settings. So that's quick save, quick load, save, load. Options, yes. Options is what I want. Whoa. Oh, it's max volume no matter what. That's nice. Okay. There we go. Oh. Okay, that's nice. I would turn these down too, because that's like the wind and stuff. We want to still hear that, because it's cool stuff to hear, but okay, I'll move that one down one as well. So much nicer on my ears, that's softer. Okay. So, what's this in kana? It's kana. It's, kui, ku, right? Kui, ku, sabe, firu. Okay, so that's quick saves. Okay. So, sound effects volume. So what are all of these? So, skip mode is the third option. I'm gonna. I can't really OCR these. That's the problem. The way the background contrast works is really really difficult to OCR this text. I could try. Oops. Audio highlights. Okay, so that's audio. So it's audio highlights, audio skip, audio something else, right? But it's audio. So nothing to do with hints. What is this? Well, I can fix it. I hit the mic, sorry. This is O. But I want to type in Japanese. So it's O. But in katakana. You know, like katakana. There you go. Audio mode waiting time. Okay. And then no G. Oh, message speed. Okay, so none of this is anything to do with the hints. So all that messing around, and no, I cannot turn the hints off in the settings, unfortunately. Oh well. And I missed a line, so let's backlog. Try to get the line that I missed. It was just this one, right? As I returned to my seat without saying a word, I somehow felt the eyes of those around me. What? Oh, auto's on.
閉まってた？
Okay. I wonder if someone could share some lunch with me. The setup. Someone can, and it's going to be delicious, isn't it? Because she's rich, right? In the middle of my sad thoughts, Otawa-san suddenly came to my side. By the way, I oftentimes just don't eat lunch. Because I'm not, like, sensitive to the intervals at which I eat so much, so I have to worry about, like, whether or not I eat lunch or not so much. I'll just eat more later or earlier. Was it closed?
購買。閉まってたでしょ？
Purchasing was closed, right?
三上くん？
Miko-kun? Mikami-kun, but it's Miko. She said Miko. Miko-kun. Embarrassed, I admit. No, it's not. It's ha. But in a katakana, though. Katakana. I want that katakana. There you go. Oh, I got the wrong kanji too. OCR. That's not any better. That's still the wrong kanji. It's probably just saying that's correct. With a hara in there somewhere. I can't get the kanji to go in there.
さて、ここに取り出したるわ。
Come on. Well, what I'm going to bring out here is this thing. Otawa-san dangles the Google Translate says van in front of me. Van is a weird way to translate this, though. Doesn't seem to be kanji. Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, okay. It's bread. Dangles the bread in front of me. I don't need to mess with Google Translate to know that. I know that pawn is bread in Japanese. And yes, it is borrowed from Latin. Ah. Right now, I have a precious drink in front of me that is more difficult to obtain than anything else. Well, it's probably precious food in front of you, right? Yeah, the kanji got mixed up. Food turns into drink for some reason.
このパン欲しい？
So, this bread, hoshi. I don't know what hoshi means. Do you want this bread? Say so, right? I want it. I want it. Before I could say it with my mouth, I silently bit into it. Smuri Gatska. Or Smuri Datsta, I forget. I was going to continue.
何か忘れてない？
Did you forget something? Did you not say Itadakimasu first? The bread was supposed to satisfy me. Was shaking in Otawa-san's hands. Wait, you're like, you bit into it while she was holding it? Is that how this works? It's a state where it is called leaving you alone with dogs. I presume it's like, you're playing, she's playing with him with it. Playing with it, with him with it. Okay. See if I can... Well, I can get the top one. Okay, the top one is... Do a sincere thank you. And... the bottom one I can't get for some reason. Refuse. I would do the thank you. So I would do the top option. And it's probably going to give me some stupid hint that it shouldn't give me, but here we go. Yes. It would be better if I thanked her, honestly. Arigato gozaimasu, which just means thank you.
よろしい。
Yoroshi, which is something like please, kinda, or okay.
おい先生来たぞ
Okay, so we have Sheen calling for the teacher. Hey, the teacher is here. When Otawa-san gave me some bread and juice, I took bite after bite. At this point, I don't care at all why Otawa-san gave me the bread so conveniently. I didn't care that this was a romance visual novel where stuff like that happens. Where you don't have to do anything, the girls just gather around you. I filled up the bread in one go. What does that mean? Oh, you filled up on the bread in one go. You got it down in one go. Washed down with juice I had received with it, and realized how grateful I was to my neighbor. Actually, I would like to taste it too, but I don't have time. As long as there's something to digest in the stomach, there's nothing to complain about. By the way, classes have already started. I guess eating in class is forbidden too, because Japan. It was a divination class. That's because the kanji for old got switched into a kanji that meant fortune telling. So I'm just gonna guess without retranslating this that it actually meant it was a history class. Hopefully my context guess was correct. Shisoku. Let's have a nap after eating is what he probably means. No, it's literally siesta. Yeah, after eating, let's have a siesta. Gua. Okay, what's this gua? Oh, just gua. I need to turn down these sound effects too. Okay. Homeroom is over, and the classroom is filled with hustle and bustle. Well, it's the same windy day as usual. Windy's probably not the correct word, but... Well, let's go home.
帰るの？
Are you going home? That's right. Would you like to go home with me, Otawa-san?
遠慮しとく。それより今坂さんどうしたの？不機嫌そうだったけど。
Oh, I'll refrain from doing that. Besides, what happened to, Imasaka-san, which is not actually your name. You seem to be in a bad mood. Choto na.
幼なじみなりの事情ってやつね。
Is that just a childhood friend thing? Oh dear. It's not like that.
まあ、いいけど。それじゃあお先に。
Well, that's fine. Well then, go ahead. And I will save here. So X, whoops, not backlog, wrong thing, plus save in slot, whoops, 3. So that was only an hour and 9 minutes. It's a pretty short one. That's all I had in this time. That's the only window I had to record in. So I took the opportunity to record when I could. If you watched that, thank you for watching that.